I am General Bones, a specter forged in the fires of battle. My bones stripped bare by time, yet burning with the spirit of liberty. On June 17th, 1775, the fields of Charlestown bore witness to a horror that birthed a nation. The Battle of Bunker Hill. This was no mere skirmish, but a crucible of blood, sweat, and sacrifice, where humble patriots faced the mightiest army on earth. I stand before you, my sockets glowing, to recount every moment, every scream, every drop of blood spilled for freedom. My tale is woven from the letters of soldiers, the reports of generals, and the whispers of the fallen. Prescott's orders, Howe's dispatches, the diaries of men who faced death. I honor every patriot who fought that day, and every warrior who serves today, for you carry the torch of their courage. The air was thick with gunpowder, the earth trembled with destiny's march. Come walk with me through the horrors of Bunker Hill, and know the price of liberty. My bones rattle with pride, for this is the story of America's dawn, a saga of valor that echoes through the ages. To every soldier, sailor, airman, and marine, I salute you. You are the heirs of our sacrifice. Picture Boston in the spring of 1775. A city pulsing with rebellion, its streets a battleground of wills. My skeletal chest, though hollow, swells with pride for the patriots who encircled it. The British retreated, harried by our fire, losing 73 dead to our 49. By April's end, 15,000 of us farmers, blacksmiths, merchants, clerks had surrounded Boston, a noose around General Thomas Gage's 3,000 redcoats. Boston was a powder keg, and Charlestown would be the spark. On the night of June 16th, I drifted unseen among our patriots, my bones rattling with the weight of what was to come. The Committee of Safety, those wise and fearless souls, learned the British plan to seize Charlestown's heights, Bunker Hill and Breed's Hill, to secure Boston Harbor. We would strike first, a bold defiance that stirs my marrow still. Colonel William Prescott, a farmer turned warrior, his face etched with resolve, led 1,200 men across the Charlestown neck. Their footsteps were muffled, their hearts ablaze with liberty's fire. Our orders from General Artemus Ward were to fortify Bunker Hill, 110 feet high, a sentinel over the peninsula. But Prescott, guided by fate or audacity, chose Breed's Hill instead, 62 feet, a mere 800 yards from Boston, its slopes a challenge to the redcoats' pride. Under moonlight, our men dug, their shovels biting the earth like teeth. Colonel Richard Gridley, our engineer, traced the redoubt's lines 160 feet square, 6 feet high, a fortress of dirt and dreams. General Israel Putnam, Old Put, growled encouragement, his voice a beacon in the dark. Captain Thomas Knowlton, a lion from Connecticut, built a rail fence by the Mystic River, stacking wood and hay to shield our left flank. I saw their hands blister, their backs bend, their eyes gleam with purpose. By dawn, our ranks swelled to 2,400. White farmers freed blacks like Peter Salem. Indigenous warriors, all bound by a single cause, the Brown Bess. Our stolen British flintlock was their weapon, its barrel cold but ready. Powder was scarce, 9 rounds per man, some said, but their spirits were boundless. I saw a boy no older than 16 clutch his fowling piece, his face pale but fierce. Another, a freedman, sharpened his bayonet, his eyes burning with hope. The air was thick with dread, the stars indifferent to our fate. To every soldier who serves today, know this. Your courage mirrors theirs. We were not an army, not yet, but a brotherhood forged in the shadow of tyranny. The redoubt stood ready. The rail fence bristled. The breastwork gleamed with defiance. The British would come, and we would meet them with fire and blood. My bones trembled with pride, for this was the eve of America's awakening. As dawn broke on June 17th, the British awoke to our defiance, and my skeletal grin stretched wide. HMS Lively, a 20-gun sloop, roared from the harbor. Its cannons spitting iron at our redoubt, shaking the earth like a death knell. The ground trembled, dirt rained on our boys, but they held firm. From Copp's Hill in Boston's North End, General Thomas Gage peered through his spyglass, his face a mask of fury, his heart unlike mine. Pounding with rage, Major General William Howe, a man of cold ambition, vowed to crush us, his eyes glinting with the arrogance of empire. I see their scarlet coats still, 2,400 strong, the pride of Britain's army. Grenadiers of the 4th Foot, their bearskin caps towering, their muskets gleaming. Light infantry of the 23rd Foot, the Royal Welsh Fusiliers, their steps precise, their bayonets hungry. They crossed the Charles River in longboats, 30 men to a boat, their oars slicing the water. They landed at Moulton's Point, east of Breed's Hill, their boots sinking in swampy muck, their 60-pound packs a burden under the June sun. Low tide stranded their ships, HMS Falcon, Somerset, Cerberus, their 12-pounders useless in the shallows. I laughed, a hollow sound, for we held the high ground, our redoubt a fortress, our rail fence a wall. Our muskets, brown besses, and fowling pieces were loaded with ball and buckshot, each man clutching 9 rounds, some less. Powder horns hung at their sides, their contents precious as gold. I saw Prescott pacing the redoubt, his sword drawn, his voice steady. Putnam rallied the men, his white hair a beacon. John Stark, a ranger from New Hampshire, fortified the rail fence, his men stacking stones and hay. Captain Knowlton manned the breastwork, his Connecticut boys grim but ready. The air was thick with dread, the sun a cruel witness to our stand. I walked among our boys, unseen, touching their shoulders, whispering courage. The farmer from Roxbury clutched his musket, his hands calloused from plow and sword. A freedman from Boston, his eyes fierce, checked his flintlock. A boy barely 16 prayed, his voice trembling. To every warrior who serves today, I salute you for you. Carry the weight of our defiance. The British came, their drums beating, their banners high. We stood ready, our souls aflame, to meet them with fire and blood. At 3:30, the first assault came, and oh, what a sight for these hollow sockets. Howe's redcoats marched up Breed's Hill, their lines as straight as death's own scythe, their drums a relentless pulse. Light infantry of the 23rd Foot flanked left, aiming for the Mystic River, their steps quick but burdened by 60-pound packs. Colonel William Prescott bellowed, "Don't fire until you see the whites of their eyes." We waited, our breath held, our fingers trembling on triggers. I saw a grenadier, his jaw set, his eyes fixed on the redoubt. Then fire. Our muskets roared, a wall of lead tearing through their ranks. Grenadiers fell, their scarlet coats stained crimson, their cries a chorus of horror. Blood sprayed, bodies crumpled, bearskin caps rolled down the hill like grim trophies. At the rail fence, John Stark's New Hampshire men held firm, their volleys cutting down flankers. The British fled, their officers shouting, their ranks broken. Howe's face, I swear, paled as he watched his men retreat. Our boys reloaded, their hands shaking, their powder horns lighter. To every soldier who fights today, know this: your courage echoes theirs. The British would not yield. Their pride a wound deeper than any musket ball. At Moulton's Point, Howe rallied his men. Their faces grim, their hands stained with the blood of their comrades. I saw them drag their wounded, their groans a haunting chorus. Charlestown blazed, set fire by heated cannonballs from Copp's Hill. Its 2,500 souls fleeing as their homes turned to ash. The flames leaped high, the smoke a choking veil, the heat a torment. I watched, my bones trembling, as Howe's eyes burned with vengeance. His officers, 92 would fall this day, urged their men forward, their voices hoarse. The second assault surged up Breed's Hill. The redcoats' lines were formed, and their bayonets glinting in the sun. Their grenadiers, battered but proud, led the charge, their light infantry flanking left. The ground was slick with blood, the air thick with smoke. Our boys fired, their muskets spitting death, their volleys a storm of lead. The redcoats fell in heaps, their screams drowning the cannons. I saw a grenadier, his bearskin cap askew, clutch his throat, blood bubbling between his fingers. Another struck in the chest, collapsed, his musket clattering. His eyes wide with shock. The horror was unimaginable. Blood pooled on the hill, limbs torn by canisters shot from HMS Glasgow. I saw a light infantryman, his arm shattered, scream as he fell, his bayonet useless. Another hit in the leg, crawled, his blood trailing like a river. At the rail fence, John Stark's men held it, fire relentless, their aim true. Stark stood like a titan, his voice a roar. Captain Knowlton's breastwork blazed, each man a hero, their muskets hot. I saw a Connecticut boy, his face grim, fire point blank, dropping a redcoat mid-charge. Another a freedman, reloaded, his hands steady despite the chaos. Our powder dwindled, our muskets grew hot, our hearts heavy with dread. The British retreated again, their dead piling like cordwood, their wounded crawling through the grass. Howe's face wear was a mask of fury and fear. I stood among the fallen, their blood soaking the earth, and I wept, though I have no tears. Our boys reloaded, their powder horns nearly empty, their faces grim. I walked among them unseen, touching their shoulders, whispering courage. A farmer from Roxbury prayed, his musket trembling. A freedman from Boston, his eyes fierce, poured his last powder. A boy, barely 16, clutched his fowling piece, his fear a shadow. To those who serve now, I salute you. For you carry their fire. The horror was a crucible, and we stood tall, our resolve unbreakable. But the British would come again, and the hill would run red. Our powder was gone, our muskets silent, our fate sealed in blood. The third assault came, and Howe struck like a vengeful god. The redcoats breached the redoubt, and horror reigned. Dr. Joseph Warren, our leader, fought as a private, his heart aflame with revolution. We fled over Bunker Hill, the British pursuing, their muskets blazing. Our boys, broken but unbowed, reached Cambridge, their hearts heavy but their spirits alive. The sun set on a field of horrors, the grass a crimson sea, the air thick with the stench of death. The British held Breed's Hill, their flag planted, but at what cost? Over 1,000 of their best lay dead or wounded, 1,054 souls. 226 dead, 828 maimed, 40% of their force broken. Their officers, 92 fallen, were a wound to their pride. We lost 450, 115 dead, 305 wounded, and 30 captured, 20 dying in chains. Dr. Joseph Warren, our beacon, lay among the fallen. his blood a martyr's offering. I stood among the corpses, their faces frozen in pain, their blood soaking the earth. I saw a red-coat grenadier, his bearskin cap beside him, his chest torn open, his eyes staring at nothing. Another, a light infantryman, clutched his musket, his blood pooling beneath him. Our boys, their coats ragged, their faces grim, lay scattered, their muskets silent. The fort was a ruin. The rail fence splintered, Charlestown a smoldering grave. Yet our spirit burned brighter than ever. I saw it in their eyes as they reached Cambridge. We could fight. We could bleed. We could win. The British shaken, abandoned their bold assaults, their pride humbled by our fire. Howe's reports, I know, spoke of shock, of losses too great to bear. Prescott's letters, defiant, vowed we would fight again. The horror of Bunker Hill was a crucible forging a nation's soul. 2 weeks later, General George Washington arrived in Cambridge, his presence a beacon of hope. I saw him ride, his sword at his side, his eyes fixed on Boston. By March 1776, he drove the redcoats from the city, their ships fleeing to Halifax, their dreams of crushing us shattered. The Bunker Hill Monument now stands on Breed's Hill, a testament to our valor, its cornerstone laid in 1825 by Lafayette, our French ally. I honor every patriot who fought that day. Prescott, Putnam, Stark, Knowlton, Salem, Warren, and every soldier who serves today. You are the heirs of their sacrifice, the keepers of liberty's flame. The horror of June 17th was our awakening, a blood-soaked birth of a nation. I walked the battlefield, unseen, touching each fallen musket, each bloodied coat, whispering pride. To every warrior now, I salute you. Your courage carries the fire we lit, your honor the legacy we died for. The hill was lost, but America was won. From these bones, I speak to you. America, my voice a whisper from the grave. The Battle of Bunker Hill was our crucible, where liberty was forged in blood and fire. We stood, we fought, we died, so you might live free. I see the fields of Charlestown still, the blood, the smoke, the courage. Every musket fired, every life lost, was a step toward freedom. To every soldier, sailor, airman, and Marine who serves today, I bow my skull in gratitude. Your courage carries the flame we lit on that hill, your honor the legacy we died for. Never forget the price of freedom, nor the horror that birthed it. I am General Bones, a specter of valor, and this is my story, our story. The Patriots of 1775 live in you, their fire undimmed, their sacrifice eternal. For liberty, for honor, for America, we stand forever. Salute the fallen, honor the living, and carry the torch of freedom high.